How do you handle situations where team members aren't following the agreed upon processes? Yeah, part of me always kind of want to go get a big stick and bash them up a bit because they've agreed to. But we've got to remember that there's reasons for how people act. So get talking to them. Why is it that they're not following the process? So this can be a very simple thing as a Scrum Master. Paying attention to what people are doing, noticing that they've deviated away from the process is only the first step. Understanding why is likely the next step. So I recommend sitting down, talking to them. Okay? What are they trying to achieve? Why is it they've gone away from the process? Maybe it's a one-off. Maybe they just recognize that for now, they need to change their process a touch. More likely, they recognize that they need to change their process and they've just not told you. Okay, well, here's an opportunity to talk to them, understand what it is about the change that will bring a better benefit, okay, and work with them to set up that experiment. Help them understand the power of being disciplined about this approach, taking some time and thinking, what is it we're going to change? What are we going to see it's better? A real experiment around their process. And sometimes they've just slipped into a bad habit. And it's the same thing. In talking to them, you're going to raise that point. And I don't mean in a judgmental fashion. You're just picking up and saying, well, why is it you're doing this and not that? What is this giving you? What are you hoping to achieve? 9 times out of 10, if it's a bad habit, they're going to recognize it as such and just say, oh, we forgot, or we were in a bit of a rush, or, okay, great. These are opportunities for improvement too. We can sit down and we can work with them and say, how do we spot that this is going to happen again? How do we get in front of this and make sure that, instead of slipping into a bad habit, instead of going away from a process that is working for us towards one that maybe isn't as well, how do we get in front of it, make sure that we stick to the way that we've agreed, because that's the thing that's going to work out best. So when you find your team moving away from the pre-agreed process, do not try and force them back onto it. Okay? This is something that I've done as a Scrum Master in the past, and I'm sure many of you have, is you go, but that's not what we're meant to do. And you get a bit angry and you get a bit stampy and you tell them to do what they're meant to do and it doesn't support them. But also, you're working against their own agency. Our role is to help create an environment where they can be the best. And part of that is that they know that they can do things when they see it's the best way. And if we turn up and we tell them to go back and do something different, you're doing it wrong, we're working very counter to that. And we want to be conscious of that. So instead, invite a conversation. I've recognized this. I noticed that you're stepping away, you're not doing this. Retros is a common one. I noticed that you're just taking the retro out of the calendar. Why is that? What are you hoping to achieve? We're really, really busy. I know, I understand that, okay? However, and we can lead them down a conversation, not to lead them to an answer, but to lead them to exploration. Let them play around in that area. Maybe this time round, skipping the retro is the right answer. Maybe. Be surprised. But maybe it's because they think that a retrospective is a 90-minute meeting where you all sit down together and share all, and they just don't want to do it. They've had a hard couple of weeks. They are up against it in terms of pressure and they want to push on. Okay, well, then we can explore that space. Well, what does a retrospective need to be? How about instead we do a 20-minute retro that just focuses on one thing, short, sharp, hyper-focused, and keep moving. And that does what we need. We're still following the process. We've still got the retro in there. We're still looking for a way to improve. But we're also helping the team understand that A, we're listening to them, but more importantly, B, they own their process, not us. If you've got to this point in the video, I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, a like would be appreciated. If you want to hear more from me, more answers to questions that maybe you've got in the Agile world, please subscribe to the channel. And if you've got a question that you really want answered, drop it in the comments. I promise we'll get around to it. Thank you.